Hello to the foundational infrastructure working group meeting. Yeah, on 28th of March. Yeah, that's just a second. I will share the project board. Just open it.
Busy. We have so many things in flight. So many PRs.
Yes. We need AI for our board, so to manual updates doesn't scale anymore here. Okay. Pending merge. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the first one is regarding the side do not define initialize method, so this is end up calling. So we have one review here. Just a second. I think with one review and this the change looks good actually.
Yeah, looks good to me.
I can also just approve. That's it. Okay. The next one is about fixing the fingerprint and dependency field for Bosch agent compile.
Joseph, I believe last time you said, or you assigned yourself because you had contacts, right?
Maybe. Is this that old?
It's not that old, but yeah,
So wait, this is another broken thing with the compile command?
this was the second one. This is not new. This was there last week.
Huh. I thought we already merged all this. Last week. Who remembers that? Yeah, it does seem like I added myself and other people. Yeah. I should take a look at this.
Okay.
I'll do that after this meeting.
Okay, then I will waiting.
Pending review.
Yeah. And this is about remove power DNS.
Remote power DNS.
Yes. This is this waiting for a release or why we didn't? I remember this was there also last week.
I think we added reviewers. We merged the one to Bosch deployment that actually removed the ops file, but all the other ones we just added reviewers to.
We have one review, and this is about it's just removing the this power DNS.
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't have to wait for a release that removes the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it's okay for it to be gone from the docs. While people could still use it.
Prevent someone starting using it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is to say pattern from maintenance tables. CI pipeline for maintaining the release.
I think there was some changes requested. I don't know. if Benjamin's had time to get to them yet. Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Yeah, still waiting. Yeah. I think what here is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still waiting. This is in progress. I like this change also. This feature request or how to. So most probably this will be also documented at the end that people can find Hasbom.
Do we have the packages.txt file that's currently in there documented?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a question. But yeah, will probably make sense. I was wondering, do we want to have opinions about the format? I think this is going with SPDX. There's also Cyclone DX. Do we want to support both?
Which one is the most popular right now?
That's the problem. Like it's
Do a Google fight.
yeah.
Yeah, there's these probably next year there will be some other tool that's better and best and
We should make our own format.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what BuildPacks did, right? But we have already that packages file. I don't know.
But can the tool used here generate also the other format?
Yes, it can generate both, and it can also generate its own format. Like Sift has an intermediate format that can be that you can use to export to both, but it's creates bigger files.
How big
Maybe-
is the SPDX?
It's a good question.
I mean, if it's like a small enough nothing, then like I say we just go with this, and then if somebody wants the other thing, yeah, make a PR. We'll throw them both in.
Yes. Yeah.
would
I
be good
wanted-
to get some numbers on the size of the 3 different formats, and then we can figure out what we find acceptable.
I would hesitate to use the SIFT format just because we've seen how often SIFT changes and breaks things, not necessarily with their format, but with their tooling, that I wouldn't put a lot of confidence in the stability of their format.
Yeah.
The other ones, I guess, also change fairly rapidly. Hopefully,
Yeah.
mostly additive changes, though.
So, should we ask in the PR about any size? Or
Yeah. Just ask him what the estimated size of it is. I'm sure he's run it at some point. Be faster than us doing it.
I would not expect that it would exceed more than 1 megabyte. It would be really weird for a JSON file that big, right?
20 gigabytes.
let's try the other formats. What is the other format? Their
Cyclone DX. So
their own format. So the Swift own format and Cyclone DX.
there's Cyclone DX, and then there's SPDX, and Cyclone DX has
DX
5.8 million, and then SPDX has 1.7 million search results.
What is CF? What are the Cloud Foundry part? They already make SBOMs, right? What are they
Oh.
using?
Who are doing that?
Well, last year at the CF day, this I thought it was Cloud Foundry. Was it Diego team or one team was using SBOMs or was going to use SBOMs? I don't know.
I think in the build packs they are doing it and they support both.
Okay.
Hey, Benjamin is here.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
There were PRs from you. That still have to be
Sorry,
done.
yes, I'm late at working on those.
Yeah, no, but
Mm.
for example, the CI pipeline one, are you gonna come back to that one or should we merge it as is?
This one,
Yeah,
this one here.
I've started working on this. I remember it was not so easy to use the standard thing. Yeah, I'm gonna finish that. All right.
Mhm. Okay. So we had here some questions last time, but still no answer. There was So it's still the desire to not put this into the stem cell, but trying with an Bosch add-on. Why? Like
Yeah, I mean, that still seems to be the right way to do it, right? Like, if it's available, right, you would still be executing it with with an add-on, right? Like if it's installed in the stem cell, it's not like the agent is interacting with it, right?
Yeah.
So you would still need a Bosch add-on to be able to execute it in any meaningful way. So then why not just bring the dependency through the add-on as well?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, let's wait then for the answer.
Here, USG is not user security groups. It means something else, isn't it?
Some tool to run benchmarks,
Oh,
benchmark profile,
alright.
like, and then the security benchmark stuff.
All right. Ubuntu security benchmark.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
probably what it stands for.
we still wait for Johan here. Still no progress. Another remove power DNS. We have one review and one approval here. This is okay. This quite large change. Should we wait for another one? For another approval?
Yeah, I think wouldn't hurt to have another one.
Yeah. Mm. must notice. Ramon, is this ready? You looked into this change. Add support for system D resolved.
Okay, sorry, there was someone cleaning. Sorry, I'm not paying attention. So the new stuff works because I'm using this new agent in the Noble tests. So for me it works. I have not tested it for Jemmy, so but that's once you put it in the CI, it will probably test all those parts. So
It's opt-in, right? You need to set that config property to use this.
yeah. So he fixed I tested it and there were like 2 fixes that need to be done and he did that. Because he made those 2 commits like this week.
Yeah.
There was a test failing and there was if no DNS servers were available, it didn't work. And he fixed that.
But if you feel like we need another review on this, or
Yeah, I can do that now.
No,
you reviewed already.
You can add me to it. I actually already went over it with Long. So it's basically already done.
Yeah, it's done. It's I already reviewed it. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Joseph, if you already reviewed it, or are you gonna review it in the merge?
Yeah, I can hit the merge.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Shall we?
Yeah. So last time question was if we do have some Riemann experts in SAP, right? I just got in contact with them and sadly they replied they do have no clue about this Ruby clients, but they suggested to carefully test it. Yeah.
But is this
Right.
used? The question
Hmm?
was whether we use the client. I don't think so.
Oh, sorry, Dan, okay. Oh, that's something I did not ask them. But it doesn't seem to be like that, right? Because
Yeah.
they mentioned that they do not have any knowledge per se.
Yeah. To my knowledge, we use the Graphite client to send health monitor metrics, but you can check on this whether it's used or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Document directory Turbo compilation Bosch agent. Yeah, this is the documentation about the compile feature. It looks good actually. Joseph, you are assigned here.
I don't even remember what I did after this last meeting.
I will look at it.
Another remove power DNS. The Bosch CLI.
This from last week.
Yeah, we have. I think we have here still. What is the comment here? It's resolved already. Here is okay, then I will request another iteration here from Brian. And this is regarding to make the tests more quiet. Still waiting for review. Okay, then on the agenda, I think we had something on the agenda. Let me open the agenda. Before we jump into the issues, maybe we can talk about topics in the agenda and then. Okay, I have one. It's about the there is now a PR to move the aliCloud CPI to our working group. It has been already approved, so that that means now in our working group we have another sub area for the only CPI. Here it's called aliCloud VM deployment lifecycle BOSH, and we have only the BOSH aliCloud CPI there. And the question is now whether we want to consolidate here and move all repositories which are related to aliCloud into the new sub area.
Yeah, I think this is mainly a question from Matthias and the current maintainer, because like I believe Matthias has made most commits against at least the Lobster CLI.
Yeah.
And the index is mostly bots, right? So it's about like who's gonna review PRs.
But what is the result when moving it to the sub area?
Like when assigning reviewers, like you would probably get assigned to reviews on the aliCloud CPI release.
We can move
I think
it.
that's the main change, right? It has to do with like there's already a team for that area.
Yeah.
But with one person in it.
I mean, the good part is now. Huh?
Yes, sorry. I just wanted to say that the aliCloud index is just output that is written from the continuous integration. So it doesn't seem there will be any PRs on this.
No, it's the light stem cell builder and the Blobstore CLI, right? Those I think are useful.
Okay. All right. Okay, sorry, Matthias. Please go ahead.
So I mean, the good part is that we can now become reviewer on the CPI as well, right?
Yeah, I think that's
yeah. Okay. We can move it. This storage CLI right now we anyhow don't use because priorities shifted, and we expect that we can only continue with the storage CLI for the Ali Blobstore in end of Q4 this year, maybe beginning. Let's see. So from my perspective.
Yeah, but I mean, you would also get reviews.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideally from the CPI maintainer on the storage CLI.
Well, why not?
Yeah,
makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Would be great if you can create a PR, Matthias. I don't know whether you can should discuss this with he.
I mean, if the PR gets created, I think we should at least tag he.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will create one.
Could I step back for a second? Like, what was like? I've never seen a PR come through for the Ollie Cloud stuff, so it's not like, oh, we want to like stop reviewing this
It
stuff.
was
Like,
in the it was in the community before.
oh, I see.
Last week. So
there were probably PRs in it, but we just haven't seen them yet. Now it makes sense to get in front of that.
Yeah, now that it is on the now that the CPI is in the main under control of this file, it makes sense to move the stuff in there.
Okay, makes sense.
Basically, the foundation wants to archive the Cloud Foundry Incubate.
Oh yeah, it was incubator.
Organization, and they found that only 1 or 2 repositories are active there, and one of those were the CPI, DALI Cloud CPI, and that's why.
And we make this now as a sub project because we don't trust he, or what is? Why do we go that way?
Trust. It's also about like not wanting to burden he with like,
okay,
like otherwise he would get automatically assigned to all the other stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And then we would also get assigned PRs for the Ollie Cloud stuff, and it's like, this is better reviewed by he.
Yeah.
And they have their own automation to
yeah, perfectly makes sense.
Yeah, that's why. So we've been discussing this. Okay, then we clarify this.
I would have 2 topics, even though they are not on the agenda, just to inform you or discuss it again. I mean, we are still concentrating on the future of the OpenStack CPI, right? We discussed it already some meetings ago, right? But now we are going forward and we'll set up a first repository, and we want to implement the CPI in Go, right? For OpenStack, and at the very beginning we will just create a Go launcher, right? That is then, or that's only a shell script, by the way. That's then forwarding all incoming calls to the existing Ruby CPI. And then into that new BOSH release, we then add new Go source and implement call by call all the existing CPI calls in Go. The question is, I mean, we will first set up a local repository, right? The question is when we start to establish this in the community. That's maybe something we can discuss.
Interesting idea. Are you going to call it OpenStack CPI 9000?
Call it however you want. But for us, it is. I mean, we want to avoid Big Bang, right?
No, I understand.
And just have it running from the very first second on.
Yeah.
Feels like somewhere in the middle, right? Like you want it to be merged into the main branch before you're done and the Ruby code is gone, but probably after you have more than like the info endpoint done. So like somewhere in the middle, you're like, this is like good.
Okay. So we will just create the repository and share it with you, and so that you can have a half open eye on it and intervene if something is going very crazy then. And then at one point we decide on what we do with that from community perspective, right?
I mean, I could even see it where you would create the repo from the start, right? It could fall under the working group because reviews are still valuable, and you could even have a job in the CPI. Can you have jobs with a different name? CPIs are supposed to.
Sure. Anyhow, I would choose a different name because, I mean, we cannot ensure backward compatibility to all these OpenStack versions out there, right? Because we do have only a single version available
Mhm.
inside of SAP, right? And
Mhm.
I would assume this anyhow to be a major version upgrade of the existing Ruby CPI. Yeah, and therefore maybe it makes sense to just use another job name.
I mean, that's always been true for the OpenStack CPI. Like we've only ever run tests against one version and like been like, it's a best effort. Like, I'm wondering if it makes sense just to do it in the, like, I don't want two CPIs at the end of this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if it makes sense just to do it in there on a branch and then occasionally make PRs to like merge it into main. And maybe not, maybe, yeah, like just so there's only one, like maybe a separate job, like Ruben was saying, but like
I
maybe
mean, like a
not.
separate
Maybe
job.
just
Like I would go with a separate job, just like we do with Postgres, right? If we do a new Postgres version in the Bosch director, like we would have people move over on their own pace, and then
but
at
then what do
some
we do at
point
the end?
yeah, we change the default. We say like, and now we feel confident enough we're gonna switch them, and you still have the old one available. Maybe, I don't know, depending on the like how
That
confident
means
we are.
you're carrying Ruby around with you.
Yeah, so at some point it should just be gone, right? But at least then we have it in the main. You have it in the main repository, and people can opt into using it.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
you don't have
Or
to rebase stuff, right?
yeah. The other option is
Okay.
have the new thing as the default and have the, I mean, that's just a change to Bosch deployment, I guess, as far as which job it's using. But make
Yeah.
that change at some point. And then like, oh, if you want to use the old Ruby one, it's still there for now. And then once the work is done, it
Mhm.
goes away at some point, after some period of time of
Yeah.
not bumping the
Yeah.
gems or anything.
The downside is that like starting, oh no, you would I'm just thinking about like having two runtimes, right? A Ruby and a Go one. Like at some point you want like CVE, because of CVEs you want the Ruby stuff to be gone. Like even if you would be using the fully Go based one and it's all in one release, you still get the Ruby package, which
Exactly.
is annoying
Well, if you're
Which
pulling in the job, it won't actually install the other package.
at
Bosch
runtime.
is,
No, but if you're like scanning this,
exactly
Yes,
our
the
code
yeah.
scanners would blame us.
yeah,
yeah.
which is why I think like it'd be nice if, that's why I think one job is nice, because it's nice in that like you know when you're done and you can delete the Ruby and it's like, oh, you can pen back to an older version if you need something, and like we can work on making sure that try to bring that compatibility forward. It's more risky because you do have a risk of breaking people then. But I don't know. See, it feels like every time there's a new version of OpenStack, we have risk of breaking people because somebody might upgrade their OpenStack and it
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah,
doesn't work.
I'm just concerned about like potentially we might have to fork, right, at Broadcom. Like if the upstream is going with a thing, you know, that breaks our customers that are using a really old version, then we have to go fork to maintain the Ruby bit for a
And then we
for
end
a
up
while.
with two releases, right? Which is where you're saying start from. So worst case is we end up with two releases if we have to fork it.
You know, that's why I was saying one release with two jobs, so
Yeah.
that we can like wait a bit before adopting the Go based one. Like we would probably be using it in our pipelines to start validating it, but we don't have to do the switch over yet.
Well, I think we could, if our pipelines pass, I think we could
Wait.
switch over. And then if our pipelines fail, it's like, oh, switch back to the Ruby for the next release and then figure out what's going on and if we need to live there or not. But it does give us the option of pinning back to the Ruby.
Okay. So means preferred way forward is to introduce a new job and we just implement everything in the existing Bosch OpenStack CPI release, right? So means we just add in the sources the Go implementation in parallel to the Bosch OpenStack CPI Ruby implementation.
Yeah. And I would, you know, if I was working on this, I would keep it on a branch as much as possible, just because our review merge process is not very fast for trying to rapidly develop something. But like, however it works best, I think.
But then you're gonna
I'm not
a
scared
really
about
big
it breaking.
PR.
I'm more scared about like, oh, it's time for another PR because we made another commit.
But large PRs tend to stay in review for longer.
Yeah,
So
you try to prioritize those. I don't know. Yeah, there's a trade-off there.
Yeah.
just gather some statistics and find the optimum PR length.
We
Optimum
have
PR is
now-
one line, so just lots of semicolons.
Yeah, I think it's better to start with the docs because those get merged faster.
We
First
have
step,
already,
rename.
already statistics in the LFX insights. We can
That's right. Those are definitely
analyze and
accurate.
optimize.
Yes.
First step is rename the Bosch OpenStack CPI release to Bosch OpenStack CPI release docs.
Yeah.
Just a docs PR.
Okay. Good. And another point would be that we need to support Swift as a blob store on OpenStack. And therefore, we would then again contribute the required CLI and integrate it in the director.
But didn't Swift have support for S3? Wasn't that S3 compatible?
Is it?
Thought so.
I think we have some
I-
customers using Swift, and yeah, we just push them to use S3 compatibility.
Yes, some.
But you could always add a new CLI. You're getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, it says it's compatible. I believe people have done that in the past.
Yeah,
Believe
and I think
might
we've
even
added
have.
all the options we need because, you know, sometimes customers are on Swift versions that don't support the V4, and so that's why there's like the V2, stay on V2 signatures and
then the
signing versus not
pod-based-
signing. Yeah,
Pod-based things versus domain. Yeah, there's all the options.
most of the options in the for the S3 blob store to support non-S3 blob stores. Because S3 turns out always supports V4.
And how many customers do you have running on that configuration?
Too many. Like, I don't know. It's always a source of pain, I think. Not necessarily because of incompatibility, but because like they're running it themselves and often it's like out of date or bad in some way.
I'm not sure on the Swift one, but I know we have many
On S3 compatible.
things that are S3 compatible,
Yeah.
allegedly. Especially Cloud Controller has a lot of issues with that.
We definitely have customers, probably some large ones. I don't know any specific details, but like, you know, I've heard like, oh, they're doing that. But we also don't get a lot. I've seen some support issues come through over the years, but it's normally like it was their blob store was the problem. It's like, oh yeah, they're using that. So it's like we hear about it, but like not necessarily in a negative light because of the S3 compatibility.
Okay.
It seems pretty good and generally works.
Okay. So it seems like we should go that way forward, right?
Would at least,
I would if I were
at
you.
least start there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, good to know. Cool. Yeah, thanks.
It was worth to join the meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there anything else before we jump to the issues? Okay, then let's check the issues. Oops.
We did it.
It's empty. They are back. So we have a new one.
Created
To
by me.
introduce.
So,
Mhm.
sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we check, because we have some landscapes with like 90 gigabytes logs in the Bosch Director and the storage disk, and we want to clean them up more often or with a reduced number of logs. And during checking the scheduled tasks cleanup module, we see there are two parameters related to the cleanup tasks. One is the created cron tab schedule, and the other one is the max tasks. So mainly the cron tab schedule is to configure the whether you want to clean up the tasks in daily basis or every 7 days. And the max tasks is you define how many tasks debug logs you want to keep in the disk. But for the max task is defined as an absolute value, and which means that it's very hard to define in each landscapes how many tasks you want to keep in the disk. Some landscapes are very busy, so the tasks are generated more often than the other landscapes. And we have an idea that we have another configuration, so we implement another mechanism that we define a retention period about the tasks. And for example, we can delete all the task logs if the task is generated 1 month before. So that's the idea. Would like to ask for suggestions about it.
It seems good. Hearing you say it out loud makes me wonder why on earth we ever thought max tasks was a good idea. It does seem like retention period is a far more sane feature.
Yeah.
How would the two options work together?
The docs just have to say which one wins if you have them both set, I think.
Yeah.
Presumably we can't change the default, so like retention period should probably default to blank, and then like if it's specified, it will override the max tasks.
Or we keep both.
Or you keep both, yeah, and it's like I don't know how that works.
But then you probably want max tasks unlimited, right? If you want the retention period to win.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. But it's much easier to communicate to your customers that we keep logs for 30 days, right? Then, yeah, we are not so sure. You do have 2,000 chances and then it's gone.
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
That's cool.
It's open for contribution.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, and the next one. This risk of false positive on system D RC local logic.
What is doing first boot.sh for us?
I was gonna ask that. What is that? Who knows what that is?
I don't know. First boot.
Touch systemd last. Wasn't me.
Seems that we have a first boot something. I said first. There's a whole
That's
stage
fine.
for it. First boot.
That file was touched 7 years ago.
First boot.sh.
When it was moved from the Bosch repo into this repo.
Yeah, I think we can even remove this. It's the only thing it's doing is dpkg reconfigure no interactive OpenSSH server and sysdet. Why the hell is it doing that?
That's a good question, which I feel like we needed to answer before we deleted it.
Yeah.
We should remove it in a noble. See what happens.
You know how much stuff I already removed, and now currently, because of this wonderful thing with Canonical is, I now get the issue try to extract package, but tar failed. And an hour
Thank
before
you.
that, built perfectly fine, but I couldn't SSH into my machine.
I think you removed too much.
I need to vent my frustration.
So this is not something we support. Just
Yeah, we support it. It's in the stem cell builder. We can fix it, but I don't know why it is there.
yes.
It seems like a leftover from Xenial or something, or Trusty.
It was added. Well, one of the two lines was added in 2011.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
No, 2011.
2011, dude. I have here moving over stem cell building from Bosch
Yeah,
repo.
you got to go back to the Bosch repo and find it in there where the stem cell builder used to live.
Okay. So yeah, I think this can even be removed. I think it does not make any sense.
We could ask
No.
them if they think it can be removed.
Yeah. So this seems like a good idea for a cleanup.
Initial/incomplete approach for automated creation of stem cell images using VM Builder.
Yeah, it still doesn't.
So good have the description of
We
specific-
can just tell them. So this seems like it's like a leftover.
But I mean, like,
Or we are in the
point-
process of removing this.
yeah, but like removing this, it apparently has a function, like looking at the description of the issue, right? So the result of this race condition that he describes is that the SSH key is not generated.
Yeah, I can see that
The
in
host
the
key.
first line. The systat, I have no idea.
Yeah.
No, and also the configuration is done in a way later step. So I don't know why this is.
No, but this
Yeah.
is about the host key, right? Like
Yeah, it's okay. The first
each,
line yeah, removes all the host keys. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it removes the host keys and then it runs so that it creates the host key. So each instance gets uniquely generated key.
So Ramon, do you want to look more deeply into this and then or
Yeah, just a second.
Why would firstboot.sh fail?
And this is also not.
So it seems like something we need, but ideally it would be controlled by system D or something.
No, because I think this first boot is just like this should not even be in well it removes all the this should happen before we post the stem cell that all the keys are removed. Not
The key, removing the keys is fine, but on first boot you still want to generate a key.
I think we need to investigate a little bit into this. And
Or what if we just add a set dash E to the top of the script? Like, he's like, there you go, we fixed your problem. No more false positives. Maybe it just never fails for anybody but this person, and it's fine for us.
I've never
Or-
seen anything.
Or we never noticed.
Right. Which is another good reason to add a set dash E. It's like, does this fail sometimes? Maybe this is a bad idea to do it in this order.
Okay.
We are happy to accept the PR.
Yeah.
So then we can also understand what his actual issue is with it.
Right. Why is it failing? Well,
I was going to ask a little bit about that. But if we say we are happy to accept the PR, then we will most probably say that we're going to keep this in Noble.
I mean, I think it is doing something important as far as generating that SSH key on each host. That's important. I don't know if this is required to do that. It seems like that's what this was there for. Is that still needed in 2024? Maybe. I don't know. Apparently, because apparently if it fails, like you just can't SSH into the VM.
Yeah, this would be more like a pre-start condition for system D. Like
Yeah, there might be a better way of doing it rather than an
there's a-
rc.local.
before I start OpenSSH server. I don't know. Yeah, I need to investigate this.
Yeah, I think let's leave this pending. We are not in discussion. So you will put here something, Karaman, when you know more.
Just put me as just assign it to me. I will take a look.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's good to build up some context on this so that we at least know what to do with it for Noble. Right.
Yeah, I already removed a lot of useless stuff that can also be removed in Jammy. But
So another issue, how to set the stem cell default CPI upload location. Default CPI upload location. There's a
Google
proper.
doesn't have a notion of regions like AWS.
This is on Google, right?
Yes, this is a Google CPI. They don't do regions with stem cells, with uploaded images.
But apparently they do somewhere inside of something.
We only just upload it to Google, and we don't do any region thingies copying like we do with AWS.
Right, they're global, but it seems like there's some sort of endpoint where you're uploading it to, and by default it uploads it to US, and for some reason their account has restrictions where they can't upload things to US. So even if Google makes the image global, they seem to have some restriction in their environment about using the default US endpoint.
Okay.
Which I'm going to speculate the CPI has no configurability to adjust right now.
Probably not.
So probably open for contribution. The Google CPI is very, very neglected, basically. When we did the Jammy to 515 kernel, it was like, let's spin up some VM types to see if that works on all the different architectures. There are only two types of GCP VMs you can actually spin up, E-series and N-series. Everything else just breaks, which sort of shocked me. Everything else we tried, at least.
Okay. Lot of issues also. All the answer is some should be removed from dashboard. Yeah. So this is open for contribution, or does someone wants to? This
Seems
somehow-
reasonable. I'm kind of surprised that there would be power DNS references in Bubble, but apparently Aaron found some. But did not
Yeah.
link them here. Which probably
Yeah.
means there's more than one.
Yeah.
This is an old one. Should. So this is
Close.
yeah. It's we have a thumbs up here. And can close it.
We should just never ship stem cells with a 0 at the end.
Fix it up.
It'd be a step in the publish step. If 0, just no, run it through again.
So we have another one, numbered stem cell no longer is run it, launch the engine. This is in discussion. Okay. So this is in discussion, internal one. This one also has been updated.
Oh yeah, I opened a PR to try to fix this on the upstream library we're using.
Mhm.
In progress.
And the rest seems to be old. So we discussed this once. Okay, then we are done on time. If there is nothing else, then
What is that? What is number 4 there? Cannot connect to Bosch Director. Did we look at that last week?
I think we
Oh.
discussed this.
I'll take a look at it since my name seems to be in here twice. Probably means I haven't read my email in a few days.
So this is just, there is no question. Looks like the directory is an old version, and that's why the NATS authentication.
Oh yeah.
Work. Nothing to do on our side, looks like. But yeah, maybe we can close this. There is no activity next time.
Mhm.
Okay, then have a nice evening, day, or morning, and see you next time.
Okay.
See you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye bye.